Elma, a young girl with a fascination for horror and the supernatural, lounges on her couch, her mind wandering through tales of haunted places. She's particularly drawn to graveyards, intrigued by their eerie atmosphere. Suddenly, an idea strikes her. Why not visit a graveyard tonight? She thinks, excitement bubbling up inside her. Without hesitation, Elma grabs a flashlight and heads out into the quiet night. The street is enveloped in complete silence, adding an extra layer of tension to her adventure. She walks briskly, her footsteps echoing in the stillness, until she reaches the entrance of the graveyard. The gate of the graveyard creaks as Elma pushes it open. Her heart races with a mix of fear and exhilaration as she steps inside. The graveyard is cloaked in shadows, and the only light comes from her flashlight cutting through the darkness. Elma walks a few steps and notices an open grave nearby. The sight of bones scattered inside makes her shiver. Must be some animal, she thinks, trying to brush off the creeping unease. As she continues walking, she starts to feel as though someone is following her. She glances over her shoulder but sees nothing. The silence of the graveyard is oppressive, and her sense of unease grows. Determined to visit her grandpa's grave, Elma pushes forward. As she approaches the old gravestone, she begins to hear disembodied voices murmuring in the dark and sees shadowy figures flitting around her. Her heart pounds harder. Suddenly, Elma feels a cold hand on her shoulder. Panic surges through her, and she starts running through the graveyard, her flashlight swinging wildly. In her haste, she trips over a grave's edge and falls, landing hard on the ground. The impact causes her flashlight to go out. In the pitch darkness, Elma scrambles to her feet, desperately trying to find her way out. She fumbles with her flashlight, her hands trembling. After what feels like an eternity, the flashlight flickers back on, casting an unsteady beam of light around her. Elma looks around, her breath coming in ragged gasps. The graveyard seems to stretch endlessly in the darkness. She glances at her watch and realizes with dread how late it has become. Determined to escape, Elma follows the dim light of her flashlight, her fear driving her faster. She navigates through the maze of graves, the disembodied voices fading as she moves closer to the gate. Finally, she bursts through the gate, slamming it shut behind her, and stands outside, panting and wide-eyed. The graveyard looms behind her, still and silent once more. Elma looks at her watch again, grateful to have made it out before something worse could happen. As she heads back home, she vows never to return to the graveyard at night again. Don't forget to subscribe the channel.